Naruto Gekto Ninja Taisen 3 was released for the GameCube in Japan in 2004. When it came time for a US release, the game would come to the Wii as Naruto Clash of Ninja Revolution. This is a bigger deal than you would think. The Wii sold far more copies than the GameCube ever did. So this game had an opportunity to introduce a whole new audience of gamers to the Naruto franchise. Not to mention, if you saw my last video, you'll know I really enjoyed Clash of Ninja 2, thanks to it improving the problems from the first game, like the short story mode and lack of content. Did Clash of Ninja Revolution, though, improve upon the foundation set by Clash of Ninja 2? In my opinion, no. But let's find out why. This is my review of Naruto Clash of Ninja Revolution.
It's my turn! Believe it!
I'm actually going to structure this review differently than my other Naruto reviews. I'm going to get all of the nice things out of the way first, then we're going to talk about the negatives. First, the gameplay and visuals are just as good as in the previous games. The visuals look like they got a minor touch, and it looks a bit nicer than the previous games. The gameplay also receives a couple of touch-ups that are a bit more noticeable than the visuals. The biggest one I noticed was that more characters now have form changes. For example, Sasuke and Kakashi can activate their Sharingans, and they even gain new moves in these powered up states. Now I know in Clash of Ninja 2, Rock Lee had a form change, but here it's far more prevalent. I'll explain in a little bit why that is, but trust me, it's important. It's also more prevalent here because I believe in Clash of Ninja 2, there were different versions of characters. For example, there was regular Sasuke, and then Sharingan Sasuke. Same thing for Kakashi too. But here, they put them together, and it gives more variety to the combat, as you unlock new combos in these modes. Another new gameplay addition is stage transitions. These occur when you're attacking the enemy near the edge of the stage, and you knock them in the air. At this point, you have three options of things you can do. 1. You can hit the enemy in the air and do additional damage. But be aware, even in this state, the enemy can dodge your attack. You can also choose to go behind the enemy, so that when you land, you can continue comboing the enemy. This is a neat addition, but overall, I don't feel like it adds much to the game. So there's one last thing to talk about, and that's how you unlock characters to play as outside of the story. They got rid of the store, and now you just have to beat the arcade mode with certain characters to unlock someone else. I prefer this method compared to the store of the last game, because the way you're able to unlock characters here is much quicker. Hope you were paying attention, because I'm leaving the nice things behind. I left out one new gameplay change, and that's the stage covers. On various stages throughout the game, there are these rocks on the stage that your character can get behind and hide. What's the point of this? It's honestly just kind of useless. It just adds unnecessary clutter to the stage and makes it harder to maneuver around. I have more gameplay complaints, but they're all connected to the story mode, so we'll talk about those in a little bit. For now, let's talk about the game case. Now let me explain something. Normally I don't talk about the game cover because it's not important to the game overall, but here, there's one particular thing I want to address. On the back, it mentions that you can use the GameCube controller, but at the top, it only shows the Wiimote and Classic controller options. And sure enough, when you start the game, those are the only options available to the player. The reason this makes me angry is that 1, the game is straight up lying to you, but the second reason is that this is the only game in the series where you can't use a GameCube controller. After playing the first 2 games, you get used to a certain kind of controller. So this kind of pulling the rug out from under you really frustrates me. Some people may think I'm making too big a deal of this, but to me, this alone is one of the biggest mistakes of the game. Hey, it's Sam from the editing room. Originally, I was gonna go on about how the music was still not that good, but after listening to it for editing this video, it's not that bad actually. But granted, it's still not better than Ultimate Ninja 3's music in my opinion. So, right now, we're gonna listen to Revolution 1's music, and then Ultimate Ninja 3's music. So, here, have a listen. There you have it. Both are pretty good, but I do prefer Ultimate Ninja 3's music. Especially because of a reason I'm about to mention right now. The biggest detriment of the music, however, is how it works in the story. As Naruto went on, the story got progressively darker and darker. And I don't know about you, but this is not the music that fits with the dark story of Naruto. Now this is a good transition to talking about the story mode of the game, which is where a majority of my complaints come from. The first thing to talk about is the cutscenes of the story mode. This game continues the visual novel style from the previous games, but here, I think it's at its worst. For one, the faces that the characters make are really ugly and unappealing. Not to mention, the faces that are chosen for the scenes don't fit in sometimes. This scene is a perfect example. Let me set the stage for you. Sasuke finally runs into his brother Itachi. And this is big. Itachi murdered their clan. So to say Sasuke hates Itachi is kind of an understatement. So, in this super important scene, what face do the developers decide to have Sasuke show? The face you make when you're meeting your girlfriend's dad for the first time, so you fake a smile to hide the fact you're scared out of your mind. Yikes. Another example comes from right before the climactic fight between Naruto and Gaara. Naruto has this stupid grin across his face, while one of his friends is almost dead. Ultimate Ninja 3 coming out less than a year later certainly doesn't help the game either. The cutscenes there are so much cooler than anything this game has to offer. This is coming from a game on the PS2, a system that's a generation behind in terms of consoles. That's just the presentation problems. I haven't even begun talking about the storytelling itself. So let's start by doing that. This game adapts the destruction of the Leaf arc and the Tsunade search arc. So far so good, but let's talk about something that I think is important to realize when talking about this game specifically. According to VGSales.fandom, by June 2008, the GameCube had sold 21.74 million units, whereas the Wii sold 101 million units throughout its life. This means that the Wii was available in a lot more households than the GameCube ever was. This means this game had a bigger opportunity to introduce a new audience to not only the Clash of Ninjas series, but possibly even Naruto as a whole. It's in this that the game falls flat on its face. When Sasuke fights Gaara at the beginning of the story, he says this.
What is going on? Tell me! Are you planning to team up with Orochimaru to crush the Hidden Leaf Village?
The game hasn't even introduced Orochimaru at this point, so anyone new to Naruto might be like, yo, who dis? Some people might be arguing that anyone who's playing this game wouldn't be new to Naruto. But here's my argument. There's no indication on the cover of the game that this isn't the first in the series. But since we've already reviewed the previous Clash of Ninja games, we know this isn't the first one. Not to mention, the next game in the series also has a 2 in it, meaning they must have considered this game as the start of a new series. I just feel like with that line of thinking, they should have done a better job introducing this story to a possible new audience. I wish I could say I was done, but aside from just being a terrible introduction to the story, playing the story is no fun either. You see, This was the start of the Clash of Ninja series becoming almost unfair with the difficulty. Let me explain. The game itself is not super difficult. While there are a few difficult fights here and there, it's quite balanced. However, this is only for the easy difficulty. When you get to the normal difficulty, things get out of control, because Tomy decided it would be a great idea to add win conditions. Let me explain what I mean by this. In certain matches, the criteria for winning won't just be to win, you'll have to win in a certain way. Like in this fight with Tamari, not only do I have to beat her, but I have to beat her using a certain fire attack. The problem here wasn't that I couldn't beat her, I could. The problem was, I didn't do it the specific way the game wanted me to. The game wanted me to win using the Phoenix Flower Jutsu, but the game didn't tell me how to do that attack, so I just kept failing and failing. This is just one example. There are others, but this gets my point across. Eventually, after getting super frustrated, I beat the game on easy mode. So overall, this story mode just didn't do it for me. Just a quick aside, the game also crashed on me twice. Just felt like throwing that in. Not sure if anyone else had this issue, but after the Sasuke and Gaara rematch, it wouldn't let me progress the dialogue. Then, in the Jiraiya and Itachi fight, after I lost, the game just refused to let me progress. Let me know if this has happened to anyone in the comments below. Just curious. So yeah, this is my least favorite entry in the Clash of Ninjas series. I don't see that changing either with the next two entries. I'm sure some people will disagree, but that's just how I feel. But speaking of the next two entries, how did the next one turn out? Well, we'll find out next time, when we take a look at maybe the most controversial Naruto game of all time, Naruto Clash of Ninja Revolution 2. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all then.